Welcome to the Moringa for Life podcast, where we explore stories of the miracle tree, the most nutritious plant ever tested. Very excited today to have Dama Joan Lee with us, who is a longtime Moringa for Life ambassador, somebody that I've gotten to know personally, and we're honored to have her here today. So Dama is a passionate advocate for sustainable living and community empowerment through cultivation of Moringa. Her works include a transformative documentary, a bilingual music video, and a training initiative based in her ancestral home in Sri Lanka's eastern province. Dama, thanks for being with us.
Oh, good evening, Ivo. Thank you for having me, Jason. It's so wonderful to share about the miracle tree that has called us to serve her.
Yes, it's an honor, and your work I know is so deep and meaningful. I can even just feel the emotion that you have right there, just even saying her name. So I appreciate that. So we're going to talk about the things I mentioned. We're going to talk about some of the training that you're doing. We're going to talk about the ancestral homeland, how important that is to you, the music video, the documentary. I wanted to start, though, and share with the audience a little bit about our relationship that we got to meet, interact when you came out to Vista, California in North County, San Diego, to do our growers and educators course. And you got to stay right there on the sanctuary, on the farm, amidst the 30-foot tall bamboo forest, be able to cook with us in the outdoor kitchen. You know, the chicken coop is right there. You got to be in the midst of all of that. And it was a special time, special moment with a great group of people, your husband included in that group. So I wanted you to just kind of give us your perspective. What was that like for you? And I think we'll revisit that as we have this conversation, as potentially how that has helped fuel some of the work that you're doing with Moringa. But what was that experience like for you?
Okay, can I also go back a little bit for 2017, September,
Please.
when I actually met Mariko. She was the mama who actually brought me into this journey. I was at a stage where I was really lost, looking for something to do, kind of a transition because children have grown up, and it was a place for me to have freedom that I could choose something important, something like serving, and that's when Moringa came into my life, and finding Moringa for Life and finding Mariko and traveling all the way up there to help her. You remember that we were moving the little the training center we had, and we were going back to transferring all the trees, and I went
Yes.
there to help her in April, and I was so excited seeing what she was doing, and meeting her was amazing transformation for me. So I returned back in September in 2017. It didn't stop me. I came home to Sri Lanka and started the farm in Trincomalee. But still, there was so much challenges and difficulties to get it going. And then I returned back again in 2021. No,
21.
I think 22.
22. September of 22. Yeah.
Yeah, 22 for the growers and educated, to get the certificate for me to actually be certified to teach about Moringa, because I realized in that time a lot of people didn't have the knowledge. And because they didn't have the knowledge, they were making mistakes over and over again, and losing a lot of money, and they were like wondering why this is not moving forward. And then I thought, no, education is something that we need to give. And that's when I started actually seriously looking at educating people in whichever way possible.
Yes. Just to get it out there, there's this interesting balance that I think is going to be a theme throughout this, from what I've seen from you, learned about
Okay.
you and your work. It's this inspiration meets education meets motivation. You have to be inspired by this work. Then you have to have the tools, the knowledge, the resources, the connections, the infrastructure, all of these things, so you don't lose money, time, you don't spin your wheels. And then you need the motivation to keep doing it, because it's difficult. It's really
Yeah.
difficult and challenging work, and I want to. I don't want to. I want to celebrate your successes and the work that you're doing. I also want to stay rooted in, like, this is difficult, challenging work, and it's meaningful, and that's why you get up each day and continue to do this work, which I think is important. So I love that we can set the stage for everyone to understand how deep the bond is, how important it is, how you traveled 2/3 of the way across the world twice to
Yeah.
be able to do this work, to come all the way back home to your ancestral land. So you had to go all the way across the world to come back home, I think is a meaningful kind of hero's journey story that a lot of us recognize and know. And so I appreciate you sharing that with us. Well, let's have a little fun. I wanted to start with the music video, because I just think that's just so great that moringa can take so many different shapes and forms. And growing it makes sense to everybody. It's a plant. We grow it. A music video makes no sense whatsoever. But you went and did it. Not only did you produce something like that in a media realm, you also wanted it to be bilingual. And so you have it in Sinhala and Tamil, two
That's good.
languages. And I want you to talk about the importance and relevance of those two languages to you. And you also mentioned to me before we started here that English is coming out soon as well. So you were really going international with your approach. So talk about the music video.
Okay. So I was wondering how to reach to the people, because if I take in the capital of Colombo, everybody knows about Moringa. Everybody has the funds to go out there and buy Moringa products, and even though they don't have much land to grow trees in their balconies or in their gardens, they still could go out there and buy the product like Moringa powder or Moringa dry leaves, or even the fresh leaves on the market. But there was like not the middle class. They would always grow a tree because they want to, like, keep the cost of living like really low. So they would grow a tree, which was easy to explain to them and teach them about growing the trees and the importance of having your own tree at home and using it for your medicinal purposes and nutrition purposes. But there was this not, I won't say the poorest of the poor, but there was this a class that was not getting education. They didn't have proper schooling, and they don't have access to markets, or they don't have access to food. So I really wanted, but the funniest thing is, Jason, everyone has a phone, right? Everyone has to have a phone. At what level ever, everyone has a phone.
They have one of these.
Yeah. Because during the COVID, they made it essential for children to have that to do schoolwork, right? So everyone, whether they are poor or not, they had a phone in the house. And I was thinking, how do I get to that phone? And when I did the documentary, it became 18 plus minutes, and it was a little bit too long to keep them focused on it. And it's still in English and Sinhala subtitles and Tamil subtitles. I could see that they were not grasping everything I wanted them to see or hear or understand for them to start eating the moringa. It was more than learning about the moringa. I wanted them to eat it on a daily basis. I wanted them to grow a tree in their land, And then the music video just came to my mind. And well, I always think Mama Moringa always guides me. She somehow gets into my mind when I'm meditating, and she speaks to me and she tells me what to do. And then I met up with this guy whom I had never seen before or heard before. And he says he knows me because his mom was my friend. And then he says, "Oh, it's okay. I will write the music for you." And he was a songwriter.
Wow.
So we watched the video together. He and his wife and myself, we watched the video together. And while watching, Jason, he wrote the lyrics. He just took parts of the documentary, and he wrote the lyrics. And then he said, "Look, I got this, but there's something missing. Do you think we can go to Trincomalee?" And this was about 8 o'clock in the night, right? Wow. Then I said, "Yep, sure, let's go tomorrow morning." And they were both free. And then he said, "What time?" I said, "I'll pick you up 3 a.m. And they just agreed. And they were thinking I'm crazy to leave at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I just drove there that morning, picked them up, drove to Trincomalee, and he said, just leave me alone in the land and you guys go and do whatever you want. And then he sat there in between the trees and he got the melody and he put the music together. And he said, within 3 days, I will give you the song. And it was a miracle. I couldn't believe it. And I was leaving 3 days later. I was flying that night and I was traveling to the airport and I was sitting in the gate waiting for my flight to board. And he sends me the video on the phone and he says, not the video, the song. And he said, I have completed it. Please listen and give me the okay. I was crying in the gate.
Incredible.
I was
That
crying. People were looking at me and I didn't care. I knelt down and I thanked the Lord. I thank Mama Moringa for giving me that joy. I could not explain.
wow.
And I shared it
Things,
with my
things
husband.
happen like that in this incredible way,
Yeah.
even though
She,
they shouldn't. It doesn't make any sense with the way that our world is so rigorous and structured and distracting, and something just so simple just happened. Like a relationship happened, and you got to see it manifest in a really, really meaningful way. I absolutely love hearing that. The creative process is so profound and so unique and so individual, and absolutely incredible story. Now, the importance and relevance to have the Sinhala and the Tamil languages. What is the relevance there?
okay, because we have majority of our people are Sinhalese. They speak Sinhala, they read and write Sinhala, and also we have a group Tamil. They do learn English in school, but still they don't have so much of knowledge about the English. So what we thought was talking to them about specifically the first verse is telling that um, because we all believe that the coconut tree has all the nutrition we need and the whole part of the whole tree is used for medicinal and food.
Right, it's
So
fundamental. Yeah.
the first verse says, you may think that is the coconut tree is the one, but do you know that the power of the Moringa is just like the ocean? So that's why we had the dancers with the ocean on the beach dancing, just connecting the waves and the Moringa power, to say that there is nothing to measure the Moringa power because it's like the ocean, big as the ocean, and power
Exponential.
is like the wave. Yeah, it's amazing. So that verse came. I don't know how he wrote that, Jameson. It just
Mm,
came to him. And then what we thought was like to talk about what we did, a little bit of how we were eating it and how we were enjoying it, and a little bit of the course, and also to show that the scientists in the world is testing Moringa crazy. It's everyone is talking about it. Everybody want to test. Everybody want to know how to use it for medicinal and how to use it for nutrition, like food. And a lot of people are talking about how to prepare it. We just wanted to show that one. And the most important thing to tell them is, look, because what I'm saying is like people like the little bit poor people who are economically not stable, they can actually grow tree. So I was telling them, eat it raw. Don't
mm,
worry about drying it. Don't worry about powdering it. Don't worry, because I don't know whether they have the tools to make the powder or whether, I don't know. So I said, grow a tree and eat it raw. So it was so important to show in the video how raw leaves could be just chopped up and put it on the food and just you can eat it. Because that's how I eat it. Whenever I'm in the farm, it is the raw moringa leaves in everything, because
mhm.
I don't want to eat it, because I feel like there's such a connection when you grow the tree. Mama Mariko always tells me the same thing. When she touching her moringa tree and eating the leaves off her, or the fruit or the flower, she says it's something happens to her, and I experienced that 100%. It's like, she's giving all to you, and in return you're receiving everything from her, and that makes a unique connection, like more like a divine connection where
Mhm.
you're one with her. It's so different. Many people say moringa is spicy, it's strong, but when I eat it, it's so sweet. It's the same
Mm,
tree, same leaves. I just feel like, she's making everything so sweet that I am staying with her. It's such a connection. So in my song, I'm telling them, eat raw. You just don't have to worry about it. Just go, bring it, eat it raw. And in the last one, I'm saying, please grow your own tree in your
yeah.
land with your children. And it was really important to show that it's so easy to do because she's so
Hmm.
easy to grow. She's amazing. She can adapt to any weather condition. And we have 75% of our land in the dry zone, right? So she loves that. You don't need to do too much to her. She's giving everything. So that's what the song is, and also to get it in Sinhala and Tamil so that they understand, and then going on the radio and explaining about, and also the dancers. They do this lots of hip movements, you
Hmm.
know and that was important for me because my audience, what I really want to capture is the women, the young people, the young girls who will be responsible to bring in the next generation of children,
Yes.
like
Yes.
leaders, who will change the world. So a lot of women hold a lot of stress in the bottom part of their, like, from hip down. So I
Hmm.
wanted a lot of movement so that I was imagining all the girls dancing, imitating this dance. And because I do that, my yoga routine has the Moringa song. I meditate to the Moringa song, and my day starts with that and ends with that. So I was imagining all these young women doing that, and not so young women as well, and the seniors, because the beat is so, like the caparina music.
Yeah, very
So I
rhythmic.
was telling them, do that. I was explaining on the radio, do that, so that you will release the stress, enjoy the energy that you're receiving of peace and joy, and get inspired to grow your tree and eat from it. So that was the secret about the dance.
Beautiful.
So a lot of
Yeah.
women have called me.
Yeah.
They have asked me a lot of questions just after the radio explanation. There were like thousands of WhatsApp messages and everything, and I thought that message didn't come from me; it came from her. She wanted me to say that to everybody.
What I think is brilliant about the approach is that when you're in a space of kind of trying to change the land, change our society, change the world, we get very preachy. We start to preach and get very sometimes self-important on how big this mission is versus somebody else's existence or what they believe is valuable or important. And what you did is you flipped it and said, "Hey, the attention is on this phone here. How do we take that medium and not fight against it, even though I want people to come back to the land and to nature? How do I create media that then is going to be meaningful?" And it's just cool. It's just like it makes people feel like, oh yeah, this is entertaining and it's meaningful as well. I love the approach. And then you took that further into a different medium with the documentary. So, and amazing work, by the way, getting to see that and another interaction with Mariko to be able to have her come to Sri Lanka and immerse herself in your land, in your community, in your work. Talk about the documentary. Why was the documentary another media piece that was important to tell the story of Moringa?
Yeah, because I realized a lot of people did not know from A to Z about Moringa, and they were missing out um, the most important things about how to be blessed by her energy, her nutrition, her medicinal power. So I want to tell the whole story. So having Mama coming to Sri Lanka was just another miracle. I don't know how it all turned out. She just decided to come, and I was thinking, okay, you're coming, let's do something. And then the whole training program we had, and everything worked together, it came together, and she was here for 1 full month, and we did amazing things. And doing that training program was the most important thing, because I think everyone who came, and Mama just walking into that land and leaving her blessing in every step and every
Mm,
breath, every word that she spoke. I think she connected to every tree. And there was some power that was released among that soil, among that trees, among that people, the neighbors, the communities, the villagers, everyone. It was just fascinating. And I don't know, it just all came together. And
Yeah.
this, I must also tell about the film director. He
Yes,
was
please.
so inspired by everything. He's Mr. Vasanta, and his son was the one who did the filming. And they just, because young people, they just say, okay, muruga is good, it's nutrition, but they didn't
Sure.
see how
Whatever.
we mixed everything with the food. Every dish had moringa leaves in it, every dish had moringa powder. So they also could see how moringa was infused into every food we ate. We had moringa chai tea. That's another blend that I do, and it's very popular now in Sri Lanka. So I share with a lot of people. I'll talk about that a little later. And so even the team who came to do the documentary, like filming, and they just thought they're coming to do a documentary, but they
Right.
just got caught up in everything that we did. They could see that it was a divine presence. They could see that and I think it changed their whole life.
Yes.
And I believe that they're eating moringa every day. And I know for sure Mr. Vasanta has two moringa trees in his apartment, and he's eating it. And one day he told me, "Oh my God, she never stops giving." And I said, "That's the miracle about her. You worship and break the branches and you eat, and she never ever stopped blessing you back." So, and so they could understand why we fell in love with Moringa, because of what she's giving us is greater than what we can ever give. So I, through them, and also a lot of Sri Lankan people just believe that if you put a tree down on the soil, that's it, it should grow. They never take care of the soil, they never take care of the moisture, they never care about her environment. So it was important for me to tell them soil is very important. You
Yes.
need to develop the soil, you need to worship and protect her, because she's the one who gives us food, she's the one who gives us everything that we have as human beings. So that was important to touch about the soil, to talk about the root, and then we went into the medicinal parts and the nutrition part and everything else, and
Yeah.
it
It was
was
great.
wonderful.
It
Yeah.
from the music video being entertainment and inspiration side, now the documentary starts to bridge the gap of the entertainment with the knowledge and some of the motivation. What I liked about it was educational, and it was very human. So much of what I enjoyed about it was seeing the people interacting, seeing groups of people huddled around a table, working together, creating a human assembly line where it was very clearly there was a goal of efficiency, yet still of having that meaningful interaction with the plant. So I like that you're finding this way to balance it, because you're trying to create businesses, and you're trying to create educational hubs, and you're trying to create the training models that can be sustainable financially, for business models, for entrepreneurs, and also help change the soil, change the land. So then it takes us right into the training. We got to see your ancestral home that you converted into the
Yeah.
Moringa farm, but probably more importantly into that training hub. Why did you do that? Why was it important for you to take, not just find a plot of land somewhere and turn it into something, or find a building that already exists? Like, you want to take your home and turn it into this space.
I have a feeling that everybody comes to a one full circle and they come back to the beginning. I
Hmm.
strongly believe that, because for me to return to for the place where I was born, it more than the ancestral home and my parents, it was the place that I was born. And Trincomalee is accepted like one of the places that education started distributing from Trincomalee throughout the whole land.
Interesting.
And there is a scientific, historical evidence of that one. And so when they explained to me, I was wondering, why is my heart burning to share this knowledge, starting from Trincomalee? And And also, I think if I started somewhere in Colombo, people already know too much, right, in Colombo. So, and they're all more educated. So it would be harder for me to get them to commit. Whereas my staff in Trincomalee, they had to work harder every day to earn money. So they really committed themselves to learning and doing the job. And when I realized that they were really dedicated, then I thought these people can't be just workers. They need to be ambassadors like me. Wherever they go, they must talk about the Moringa. So I invited them to eat with us and cook with us and, learn everything about it. So it was not only working in the land, doing the labor work, they also got involved in cooking it and eating it on a daily basis. And when they went out to their homes, they talked about it. They said how important it was to get it into our bodies so that it will give us the energy and the health that we can live a healthier life without running to the hospital or getting medication. So all that came because these people went back to their homes and their homes got educated. And then from there, their neighbors, the communities. So there was such an interest in people coming to find out what is so special in this land, that is keeping it green and more like a forest, whereas everyone else is having a lot of issues with the dry zone. And I also experienced a lot of waterlogged, um, and having root rot and losing lots of trees at the beginning when I started. But after we developed the soil, I proved to everyone that soil is the main thing that maintains any trees or any
Yes.
any kind of vegetation. And it was a good lesson for everyone looking at me and wanting to know what was happening there. So starting from a place where you're born, connection to the land, connection to the house, and also turning that place to a educating institute was important for me, because I was thinking this is where it needs to spread out. This is where it needs to touch every heart, because they'll have something to look and feel and work. So whenever I see people coming and learning how to do the composting, it's just like how Mama taught me when I came to California.
Hmm.
Mama Mariko physically got us to make the compost.
Right.
She
Yeah.
got us,
You're turning
you know,
compost piles. Hmm.
yeah, and collecting the material and putting them together and working and different types of composting. I think that has, because you let your sweat fall into that land, and you drink that water, and you're messing around with the soil, and you're eating the leaves from there, and you're eating the food on that land, and getting sustained. There is something that you give and take from that land. So everyone who comes, they leave their blessings there, and everyone who goes takes the education with them. And what more beautiful, I don't know, I just
Hmm.
feel that it's a miracle by itself.
Yeah, it's like they're taking fire back to their village. It's that impactful from almost like a societal, anthropological standpoint. You're literally giving them fire to take back to the village that could change their whole trajectory, their economic state, their social state, their health and well-being, their their ability to start businesses, things like that. So I think it makes all the sense in the world to me. What's even more fascinating about the training hub is who you're training. Right. So of course, farmers, some entrepreneurs that want to be maybe in the agricultural space, selling at farmers markets, things like that. But when you told me who some of the groups that were coming through, police personnel, beauty salon
Yeah,
workers, you mentioned, temple communities, women's groups. And it just, again, I was like,
yeah.
Dama, you are always finding ways to go against what the preconceived notion of what a farmer should be, what a moringa cultivator should be. How are you even finding these groups, convincing them that this is a valuable use of their time when we're all so distracted, all have a million things that are quote unquote more important to do, to come out to your land, to get trained in moringa? What, how are you doing it? And what are they getting out of it?
So I think Moringa, Mama Moringa lives in me. Every word is a Moringa something, right? So wherever I go, to whom I talk, somehow start the conversation about Moringa. I always tell them, this is why I'm here in Sri Lanka. I'm doing a Moringa mission. I have a land that's growing 2,000 Moringa trees. And somehow I get this word across and they get interested. And when I was talking to this police officer and I was explaining to him what I was doing and why I shouldn't be coming and wasting my time on a traffic offense, And then he goes, "You grow moringa?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, I have a documentary already done for the Sri Lankan people and a music video. Would you like to see them?" And, just sharing it on WhatsApp. And then he goes, "Would you like to come and talk to the student police, constables, when they're having lunch or something?" I said, "Of course." So I take my computer, while they're eating, showing the documentary and, pausing it, explaining to them about it. And then I come home and something is burning in my heart. Why don't you donate some trees and grow it in the, in the police land? And I goes, "That's what I show." So I call my manager in Trincomalee and I said, "Look, I need 20 trees. Just, I don't know how you do it. Just put it in a vehicle and
Good.
send it here." And it came. And that's another miracle. Everything is a miracle, Chintan. That's why I feel that my journey is
You are
so
blessed.
amazing, right? Because it came one day before they were opening their new building, and there were visitors coming from all over the the politicians and the big shots of the police. They were all coming there and they wanted these trees already on the ground that night.
Mm.
So we worked very hard, planted all the trees, and they had different locations. And I said, "No, I want them all along the road, closer to the road." And he was saying, "Why is it so important?" I said, "I want people to break it when they're going to work, when they're having their lunch, when they're walking around. I want them to break the branches." He said, "But they will destroy our tree." No, no, you can never destroy a moringa tree. I said, "Leave it. The more she gives, the more people break, the more she will grieve." So I said, "Don't be afraid." And I planted everything along the road where people are walking. And it's just amazing.
You're a very
And
strategic thinker too. That's fascinating. What you basically created was like urban pruning, the natural flow of busy people rushing by a sidewalk or going to break the you're pruning through urban agriculture. I think is brilliant. The ability to take a benign, seemingly unimportant moment and turn it into a miracle is clearly your superpower. Moringa and everything you're doing is just the manifestation of that. That's the physical act that you're doing. But taking nothing and turning it into something, into a moment, into an opportunity is clearly your superpower, because you're sitting there potentially debating with a police officer about a traffic citation and you turn it into trees in the front of a police station. For most people, that story makes no sense at all. To me now, that makes all the sense in the world. That's the only way that could have happened for you, which I really appreciate. All right, we're I can't believe we're out of time here.
okay.
What miracle are you about to produce next? Where's your attention in the next, well, I don't even know. You might walk out the door and a new opportunity presents itself, but where is your attention right now? What's kind of on the horizon for you for Moringa?
Reaching the children in the schools,
Yes.
because I
Thank
was
you.
kind of hesitant, because I was thinking going to the schools and talking about them, specifically not the private schools, because private schools you can always walk in anytime. You just have to get permission from the CEO or the main principal. But the government schools, where most of the children go, 90% of the children go there. So I'm waiting for a connection with the president or prime minister to give the okay for me to work with the local government officers who are in charge of health and awareness, so that I can work with them by going to the schools and explaining and having millions of trees there to distribute, so that the parents can come and discuss, and we can eat something together, and specifically use moringa for their breakfast
Yes.
that will be provided by the school. That is the next level that I'm trying to target and get there, and I'm sure Mama Moringa will take me there.
Yeah, we have things to talk about on that front. Mariko was just out here. She got to spend time cooking with Moringa with her grandkids. She also is finding new creative ways. What are the snacks and treats that you already eat? How do we sneak Moringa into those to not, force you to eat something completely different and new and weird and strange and yucky, and it tastes spicy or bitter or whatever. We just found creative ways to weave those in. And we have some great videos. You'll see them on our social media coming up. We're also sharing blog posts of the Moringalicious cookbook, Mohana Gill, one of our good
Yes.
friends. So finding ways to interact with children, the next generation, through food and through Moringa is top priority for us as well. So we are on the same trajectory and path right now, of course. So let's find ways to support each other on that, because that's going to be important. We have to embed that in them at a young age so that it becomes matter of fact in the way that they navigate their own lives. I think that's going to have the biggest impact. It's going to live on past us. So thank you for that once again. Dama.
I think when
Incredible.
children start asking, and then when children start getting involved in cooking, the parents will automatically focus on that, because all
Yes.
they want is the children to be happy in eating food. Because a lot of children, it's very hard to feed them. So I think that's where we need to go. Reach out to them and get them motivated, excited about cooking, and then get Moringa into it, and then we will have a healthy nation. That's what we want,
and
right?
here's a little tidbit for you. What we've been doing is adding a small amount of Moringa to something, say like a hummus.
Yeah.
And they taste it and they go, oh yeah, I taste a little bit of Moringa. And we ask, do you need more Moringa? They say, yeah, more Moringa. And so more Moringa is going to become a chant that we want to hear from kids all over the world. More Moringa. We want to add more Moringa. And so just giving them that little taste and having them decide that they want more, that it's not forced upon them, but that they're making that decision for themselves. That's going to be the key. So I'm interested to see when you write a cookbook. I'm sure that'll come soon for you. A cooking TV show. We'll have an international show of you in Sri Lanka. I'll do it here in the States. Mohana Gill in Malaysia. Something's happening.
She has already given us a head start. This is
Yes.
where you need to go. And amazing with all the work that she's doing with the children, and exactly a big hero for us to follow and use the principles that she's already laid for us. Yep.
That's it.
Amazing.
We got a lot of work to do, Dama. I really appreciate you being on. Once again, everyone, this is the Moringa for Life podcast, where we explore stories of amazing humans and amazing works like Dama around the miracle tree, the most nutritious plant ever tested.